I built a shallow artificial pond in the 100-acre sandbox, mixed it to the right salt ratio, and turned it into an ocean. I seeded this central ocean with a massive quantity of insect clan spores and accelerated cell division by 10,000 times. Every real-world day equals 10,000 years inside the sandbox. Even so, it takes until day 5 before single-celled organisms finally begin evolving into plankton. I've written genetic limits into the central ocean, capping the size of spore-based life, preventing anything from growing too large. On the afternoon of day 6, after 5 days of single-celled ancient seas, multicellular life finally appears. Within just a few minutes, it's like watching a nature documentary on fast forward. Species are born and die within seconds, each giving rise to the next. But as the sun sets, just as I expected, the sandbox world hits its first mass extinction. 12 hours of darkness means 5,000 years without sunlight. Vast fields of aquatic plants wither and sink to the ocean floor. Under the night sky, there is nothing left alive. My sandbox is too small. The sparse population isn't enough to evolve highly adaptable insect clan cells. Half an hour after moonlight falls, a faint trace of blue surfaces amid the sea of dead plants. A tiny leaf-shaped organism, no bigger than an ant. Without direct sunlight, this plant has somehow redirected its photosynthesis toward the moon. I'm completely stunned. I name it Lunabloom, and this single plant survives the first mass extinction. Within mere seconds, it begins evolving at a breathtaking pace. Lunabloom frantically adapts to the dark, spreading across the surface like lily pads, absorbing every ray of moonlight above. Another hour passes. After tens of thousands of generations, it begins branching into distinct varieties. 2 separate species emerge. One line focuses on absorbing moonlight more efficiently. The other turns carnivorous, using the moonlight it absorbs to emit a faint bioluminescent glow, luring other Lunablooms close, then swallowing them whole. Watching all of this, I can't help but marvel at how tenacious and extraordinary life truly is. This one surviving aquatic plant has built an entire diverse ecosystem in the darkness of the ocean. On impulse, I decide to write it all down. I grab a black notebook and open to the very first page of the Yanli Genesis. I write, "The Dark Age, heaven and earth convulse, the sun sets, the moon rises. The world is plunged into 5,000 years of darkness. 99% of all ocean life is wiped out. Only Lunabloom survives. In this dark ocean, Lunabloom reigns as the dominant life form of the age. The pond waits in silence. What comes next is ocean animals, but what kind of sea creatures will my insect clan cells evolve into? I stay up all night waiting for dawn, but when day 7 finally begins, all the Lunablooms that thrive through the night quickly wither. Adapted to faint moonlight, they burn up in the sunlight and sink to the ocean floor. In an instant, Lunabloom begins dying off on a massive scale. By afternoon, a faint trace of blue slowly stirs back to life among the dead colonies. It's a 5-pointed star-shaped Lunabloom, a mutant strain that has survived this extinction. Adapting to the intense sunlight, it begins reproducing generation after generation. Within minutes, the old ones die and new ones bloom, spreading into a vast field of dark blue star-shaped seagrass. Deeply moved, I name this species Solishade. I turn to the second page of my black notebook. I write, "The solar age, heaven and earth convulse again. The moon sets, the sun rises. For 5,000 years, the blazing sun hangs overhead. The Lunablooms that ruled the Dark Age are wiped out en masse. From among the weakest strains, Solishade surges to power and becomes the defining life form of this age. When night falls on day 7, Solishade lives peacefully in the ocean, now capable of surviving 10,000 years of alternating sun and moon. Meanwhile, massive photosynthesis from the aquatic plants has dramatically raised oxygen levels. The ocean is now ready for animal life. The first creatures to appear are a swarm of black beetle-shaped organisms. With that, ocean animals take the stage in the age of evolution. The moment I see animals emerge, I finally let out a relieved smile. Exhausted from a full day and night without sleep, I drag myself back to my room and crash. When I wake up, it's already day 8 of creation. I find that some sea creatures, unable to compete in the brutal ocean, have evolved into amphibians living along the barren shoreline. I quickly add a new entry. The third age, the age of new life. All kinds of animals explode onto the scene. The first ocean creatures emerge into a golden age of species. Invertebrates with tough shells dominate the seas, ruling the age, but not for long. Vertebrates are born, agile and quick. They seize dominance in the age of new life, crawl out of the ocean, and go on to rule a long age. I finish writing, and quietly close the black notebook. Land creatures are coming, but how long before intelligent life evolves? Then an idea strikes me. Why not drop some of my own blood into the sandbox? But that's too bold a move. Being cautious, I decide to experiment with another species' genes first. I head to the zoo, claim it's for a university project, and purchase a chimpanzee blood sample. By the time I return to the orchard, the entire 100-acre sandbox is transformed into a miniature living world. Mountains are lush and green, strange twisted trees cover the plains, and animals swim through the rivers. I walk into this vast world and select a beetle-shaped creature, placing them into a fresh 1 square meter test plot. I inject the chimpanzee blood and accelerate time. Those that can't survive the rejection die off. Tens of millions perish within 2 days. From the survivors, I select the small group with the most successful genetic fusion and name them the chitin kin. They look remarkably human, but unlike humans, each one has a round black shell plate growing from their back. Breeding the chitin kin takes a full 2 days, which means 20,000 years have passed inside the sandbox. Powerful species emerge emerge everywhere. Trees pierce the sky. Massive creatures are born everywhere, ushering in a terrifying age like the age of the dinosaurs. The largest is a beast with a black disc atop its head, having reached the size limit I set, roughly the size of a house cat from my perspective. I release the chitin kin into the sandbox, into a tree-lined Grand Canyon on the southern end. I want to see how they'll survive in an age like this. I set the time flow to 100 years per day. First thing the next morning, I rush over to check on the chitin kin. To my surprise, they've already formed